Hi everybody, it's Kasha Dupuy from the Niagara on the Lake Public Library. I'm here for this Wednesday's STEAM Storytime. And if you can believe it, this is week 20. We've done 20 different STEAM Storytimes, which is awesome. And then for this one today, since it was a special one, we're going to talk about one of my favorite things. Actually, my boys loved tracking this. We're going to talk about the moon and the different phases of the moon and why it changes and why it looks different and how it looks different. So we're going to read a really cool book about the moon, and it actually shows us different phases of the moon. We're going to do some drawing, and I'm going to show you a trick about how to draw a moon. And then we're going to get a special challenge that you can do at home once you've had some practice drawing the moon. So we'll just wait a minute or two for a couple more friends to join us. And of course, if you want me to say hi to you in the STEAM Storytime today, please mention or say hello in the comments because I can see them. So I can see if you're watching and if you want to say hi, let me know and I will definitely say a hi to you on camera. Also, as usual, just the regular things before I get too far into this. If for some reason my internet drops, or we have internet issues, I will continue to film this as a video and then I'll pop it up on YouTube afterwards. And then also as usual, you know what, I'll transition the camera first. Hi everybody. Also as usual, my dogs are here. Evie's like sleeping on the ground over there. She looks pretty comfy actually. Finn is inside, boys are around. If we get interrupted, just makes it more exciting, right? So hi again, my name is Kasha Dupuy. I'm from the Niagara on the Lake Public Library. And we're here for week 20, if you can believe it, of STEAM Storytime. So we're going to talk about and read about and do some fun stuff, talking about the moon and the phases of the moon. So let's get started with our book. And yes, again, if you are watching and you want me to say hi to you, write your name in the comments or say hi, Miss Kasha, in the comments. Anything you like, and I will mention you in our STEAM Storytime. Oh, and thank you again for the people who messaged me about the pond scavenger hunt from last week. That was awesome, and I hope you had fun. And I'd love to see pictures of your completed pond scavenger hunt that we sent out. But we are going to read this book today because we're talking about the moon. And this one has a very simple title. It's called Phases of the Moon, and it's by Bob Kreilin, and it's illustrated by Leslie Evans. So Bob Kreilin wrote the story, and Leslie Evans did the awesome pictures. Wait till you see these. And this book was published in 2009 by Charles Bridge Press Publishing Company. So thank you very much for letting us use this book. It's one of our favorites at the library. We've had it for a while, but wait till you see it and you'll see why. It's been a staple. It's been a favorite. Oh, I see. Oh, hi, Declan and Paige. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to learn about the moon. So we're just about to start the story. Good timing. Okay, so this is Faces of the Moon by Bob Kreilin and illustrated by Leslie Evans, published in 2009 by Charles Bridge Press. And I have to write that down because I kept saying Charlesburg, but that's not proper. So look, there's the moon. Just the beginning of these awesome story pages that we're going to be looking at. It's really cool. I'll move just a little bit closer. And do you see here? There's a hole. You can see the flowers through the hole. So that's why this book is so cool, because there are some cutouts in it. So Faces of the Moon. Oh, and that is called a moon journal. We'll talk about that later. Okay? What are those things? Does anybody know? Maybe tell the people in the room with you. What are those things? Binoculars, right? They help us see things far away. Okay, let's get started. Let me just get situated. There we go. Do you wonder when you see the moon at dusk or dawn or midday noon, just why her face is curved or round, or why she sometimes can't be found? Each month the moon transforms her face, which grows and shrinks at steady pace. Her changing looks reveal her place in orbit round our globe. So that basically said that the moon goes around our Earth, right? And our Earth goes around the sun. And the way that the moon looks depends on where it is around our Earth. So let's keep reading. Let's see what else we can find out. Each changing face, or lunar phase, repeats each 9 and 20 days, from thin to thick, from dark to light, sometimes in day, sometimes at night. Our mighty sun, with sunbeams bright, shines upon the moon in flight, and paints her shadowed face with light to make the phase we see. So basically that said, the sun shines on the moon reflects the sun, and because it's moving, we don't see the whole shiny side all the time. We see a shadow side and a little bit of light, and that gives us the phases of the moon. It's kind of cool. For as she orbits Earth in space, the sunlight moves across her face. See? And from our world beneath the sky, we watch moon change as days go by. So every day the moon looks different, right? From night to night and day to day, she'll wax or grow, then wane away. Wane means shrinking. Each phase has earned a name we see as light and shadows change. So all the different ways that the moon looks, they actually have names. So we're going to learn about some of those names. The moon's first phase, we call it new, when moon's between the sun and you. Her sunlit side is turned away, and we can't see her night or day. The new moon rises and sets with the sun. So the new moon, when it's called the new moon, we can't actually see it. We don't even see it in the sky because all the shiny side is pointing towards the sun, not towards us on Earth. This is where the book gets cool. Are you ready? A few days pass and moon's less shy. Her smile lights the twilight sky. The more her sunlit surface shows, the more moon's waxing crescent grows. So waxing means getting bigger, and this shape is called the crescent. So we see a little bit more of the light side of the moon, and it's called a waxing crescent because it's getting bigger. It's making its way to a full moon. Waxing crescent moon rises in the mid-morning and sets in the mid-evening. Okay. We notice moon's first quarter phase around the count of 7 days. Her western half so brightly lit, right down the middle, moon looks split. So it looks like half an orange or half a sphere, right? And that is called the first quarter. So the first quarter moon rises around midday and sets around midnight. So look, it's getting bigger because we are seeing more of the shiny side, of the reflective side of the moon. Okay. Oh, look what's happening now. It's getting even bigger. Once she's past first quarter moon, we find her in the afternoon. Now waxing gibbous, fat with light, she's nearly round, up late at night. So this moon is called a waxing gibbous because it's almost a full circle. It's still getting bigger, but it's still got a little ways to go, but we're seeing more and more of the shiny side of the moon, the reflective side of the moon. Waxing gibbous moon rises in the mid-afternoon and sets hours before sunrise. So it's out most of the night, which is interesting too. Next come moon's most favorite phase, around the count of 14 days. Her monthly orbit's halfway done. Now she's opposite the sun. So that is right there, that's a full moon, right? We see the whole shiny side of the moon. And that means we see the most, as we possibly can, of the shiny side of the moon. And the dark side of the moon, where it's a shadow, is far away from us. So that's pretty cool, eh? Okay, so let's see what happens next. We're just going to talk about the full moon again. The full moon, big and bright and round, with not a shadow to be found, now rules the heavens all night long and sets upon the break of dawn. So it's out all night. A full moon is out all night in the sky. Let me just see if that's, sorry, I realized I was coming off the page again. Full moon rises at sunset and sets at sunrise. So it's out all night. Oh, now let's see what's happening. It's getting smaller, right? It's waning. Can you guys say waning? Waning means getting smaller. Yeah, waning. Once past full, the shadows start to darken moon's most western part. And later each night she'll embark the waning gibbous moon. So it's bigger, but it's getting smaller. So it's called a gibbous. So it's closer to being full, but it's getting smaller. So it's called a waning gibbous moon. Really cool. Waning gibbous moon rises in the mid-evening and sets shortly after sunrise. So it's out a little bit less than the full moon. So let's see what's happening here. Oh, it's another quarter. Let's see what it says. At moon's last quarter of her trip, her eastern half is brightly lit. Round midnight hour she will rise to shine amid the morning skies. So it's a waning quarter, right? It's a last quarter before it starts to get really small again. Last quarter moon rises around midnight and sets around midday. This is so cool, isn't it? I love this stuff. From early dawn to morning blue, her crescent grin is smiling through. Poised high above the morning dew is waning crescent moon. Waning crescent moon rises hours before sunrise and sets in the mid-afternoon. So look, it's getting smaller. So it's getting smaller and smaller. We're seeing less of the shiny side of the moon because it's going the opposite way because it spins. And we're seeing just a tiny little bit of that moon. Yeah, it's a waning crescent. Waning means smaller, right? Getting smaller. Oh, now what happens? After crescent, do you remember what we started with? It's not the full moon. It's a new moon, right? The moon returns where she begun to hide between our earth and sun. And though this orbit now is done, next month she starts anew. So she goes back to the new moon and she'll start the whole process all over again, right? As long as we have watched the skies, this nearby world has drawn our eyes in singer songs and poets' rhymes across our globe and throughout time. Look at that moon again. That's a big moon. Oh, I have a story about this moon. The moon reminds us of our place, a spinning world in endless space. Each month her ever-changing face is right outside your door. So every time you spot the moon, at dusk or dawn or midday noon, you'll know her by her friendly phase and watch her change through all your days. So that's the full moon. During the year, there are different kinds of moons depending on how close or how far away it is from the earth. And sometimes moons have a color to them. So back, I think it was May or June, we had something called the strawberry moon. It wasn't actually made of strawberries and it wasn't really that pink, but it looked kind of like this. And I took my boys and we went in the car and it was really late at night. And we went and saw the strawberry moon and it was really cool. It was huge and it had like a light pink color. And you can look those things up with your parents because there's lots of pictures of those on the internet too. So if you want to see the different kind of moons that there can be, you can look that up with them. You just have to ask. So here is a picture of the earth in the middle. And this is how the moon goes around the earth, right? And the sun is here. So the sun shines light this way. And we only see one side, or we can only one side of the moon, is shiny, right? Gets reflected. And depending where we are, if we're here, we see this part, or 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 that part. You get the idea, right? So that's why we see the different phases of the moon, because of where we are on Earth and where the moon is around us, which is kind of cool. These are really cool too, moon memo rhymes, a fun way to remember moon facts. The moon size. To know how large the moon is wide, our Earth is 4 moons side by side. So that's pretty big. The moon's distance from Earth to moon, might say a sign, is 30 Earths placed in a line. So if you thought of Earths as beads and you put 30 of them on a string, that's how far away we would be between the moon and the sun, or between the moon and the Earth. Yeah. Okay, so we'll use these for another day because we're going to do another moon story another day. I have some other stuff planned. But that was one of our favorite books, and this was called Faces of the Moon by Bob Kreilin and illustrated by Leslie Evans, and was published in 2009 by Charles Bridge Publishing Company, so thank you very much. And this you can borrow from the library. So if you love this book, you want to explore this a little bit more, you can put it on hold and do a curbside pickup at the library for Faces of the Moon. We also have some other really good moon books as well. Okay, so we looked at all the different phases of the moon, and I actually have a picture that you guys saw in the book, but I want to show you a few more things before we do our activity today. So here's a picture of the Earth and the moon, and that's a real picture from space. So maybe it was taken when there were astronauts up in space, or there's a satellite, right? So there's the Earth right there, and then our little moon is right there. And then beside it are real pictures of what the moon looks like in the different phases. So just like that. So there's some really wide ones, there's some really small ones. There's the full moon. Can you see, let's see if you can, we'll play a little game. Can you point to the full moon? Where's the full moon? Right at the top there. That's right. So let's see, can you find the new moon? Where would the new moon be? You know, it's not even really there. We can't see it. It would be right at the bottom, straight. If you drew a line straight under the full moon, it's right there. So this shows you the different phases of the moon. And let's see, can you find a quarter moon? Let's see, can anyone find a quarter moon? I wonder if you can find it. So it can be either on either side, right? So the people that you're with, the adults that you're with, maybe you can solve that together. Okay, so let me transition back over to the camera, just like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little trick on how to draw the moon and different phases of the moon. So all you're going to need is a cup like this, and I'm just using these little, I think most people have these actually. They're like the IKEA cups. They're little plastic cups. You can use any cup you wish. Or if you have a like circle that you like to trace, that's what you're going to need. You're going to need a pencil. You're going to need a piece of paper, just like this, and my paper has puppy hair on it, so sorry about that, everybody. And then you're going to need some pastels. So I use white a lot, so I have some white. I have some like orangey, like warm yellow. I have a brighter yellow. I have like a dark bluey black, and then I have a black, because we're going to use all of those while we draw our moons today. So it's really easy. It's tracing. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to do a moon here. And what you do is you put your cup upside down, just like this, and you take your pencil and you carefully trace around the cup, just like that. Now, don't press too hard with your pencil unless you have to, and that's okay. But don't move your cup, because all you're going to do is move it over a little bit and see how it makes a moon shape right there. I'll move this a little bit closer to the camera. See how it makes a little moon shape? You're going to start inside that circle and trace only a little bit, just like that. And look, we've made a moon. Wow, amazing, right? So if you accidentally go over the side, no problem. I'm going to do the exact same thing one more time, and I'm going to make a different moon. So maybe I'm going to make a gibbous moon, because this one is a crescent moon, so it's that shape there. But if I want to make a gibbous moon, it means most of my moon, I would see most of my moon. So I'm going to go like this and do a line, and there is a gibbous moon. So that means an almost full moon, right? So if I wanted to do a quarter moon, so I'm going to go around my cup again, and see how this is the same thing over and over again, which means it's really good practice for you, right? If you want to do a quarter moon, you don't actually need to use your cup. You can actually just draw a line down the middle like that, and look, you have a quarter, right? Okay, I'm actually going to do one here, one more to make maybe a full moon, and then I'm going to do this one here, and I'm going to make a new moon. So what you can do, once you're done, your drawing, and I'm just going to put that there, you can use your pastels, and you're going to start to color in the part of the moon that would be glowing or reflective. Oh, I used the word I was going to try not to use. Moons don't glow. They don't shine like the sun, but they have a reflective surface, which means that it bounces light off the moon, just like so. So yeah, moons don't glow, even though I do like to think of them as glowing because I think that's very magical. But the science behind the moon is that it reflects the sun, right? So we have our shiny side here. And then I'm going to use this kind of blue color in the other side of the moon, because we know that that would be a shadow, right? And I'm coloring really fast, just so you're not bored while you're watching my Steam Storytime today. And then I'm going to make this a little bit darker. I like layering colors, just like that. Can we hear Frankie laugh? Something is hilarious, apparently. There we go. It was actually a very giggly morning today. I'm sure parents out there will know what I'm talking about. Everything was hilarious, and I don't feel like that's stopped yet. So there is a a crescent moon. Okay, so for my gibbous moon, I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to just color this in, because I'd see most of this reflective side of the moon, just like that. And then I'm going to do a little bit of white. And you know what? I'm not going to put any of that shiny, warm yellow in today. I'm just going to leave it this way. And then I'm going to do the same thing where I take my darker purple, and then I'm going to take my black and just fill that in. Okay, So this is basically what you can do. You can make a whole sheet of different kinds of phases of the moon, right? Oh, you know what? Let's do the quarter fast. And I used the warmer yellow. And yes, I'm going really fast, but I want to move on to the next thing I'm going to show you. But sometimes it's just nice to watch someone color and draw, isn't it? I like it too. Sometimes if I need a moment to relax, because I like to draw and paint, and I look for ways to draw and paint new things, I will watch some videos of people making stuff. And it will help me stay calm, and it will actually give me some ideas too, which is kind of cool. Okay, so we have a crescent, we have a gibbous, we have a quarter. So if this was a new moon, we wouldn't see any shiny, right? It would just be black, and we wouldn't really see it. It would kind of disappear into the sky. So just like that. Cool, eh? Okay, so just like so. And then if this was if this was a full moon, it would be all shiny and bright. Now the cool thing about the moon is that if you look at it, and I'm sure you've noticed it before, the moon has these like craters, right? So I'm going to put some circles on there and blend it in like that. There are actually craters on the moon, and maybe there are meteors or asteroids or meteorites or something that hit the moon and made those craters. So look, there's a full moon. So we have a crescent, a gibbous, a quarter, a full moon, and a new moon. Amazing. You can make as many of these as you'd like to fill up your sheet. So now that you've had practice doing these, what you can do at home is you can have your very own moon journal. So you might need an adult. If you can do it yourself, though, that's awesome. You maybe have an adult help you make a chart, and you can write the day up here, and you can draw what the moon looks like, and then you'll be like a scientist, because we're in STEAM story time, and you will observe how the moon changes and have your very own learning happening because you've seen those changes happen, right? So let me look. I have an app on my phone that tells me what the moon phase is. Oh, you know what? Look, today is actually a new moon. So today is the very main day of a new moon. So today is what? Wednesday. So I'm going to write Wednesday. So I have to write it upside down because it was kind of tricky. And a new moon would be a circle. And then we would color it in like this because we wouldn't see it. So then maybe on Thursday or Friday, we would see the beginning of a little tiny crescent of a moon, right? Every day the moon changes because the moon goes around the earth, and it changes depending on how much of the shiny side of the moon we see. Also, if you're watching here and you see in the comments, I posted a really cool video that you can watch about the phases of the moon. This video is very simple. It's 3 minutes long. My boys love it. It's a really simple way that we learned about the way that the moon moves and works. So I'm going to actually show you, while I readjust the camera, I have a picture of the phases of the moon that we kind of did. And these are real images, real photos that someone took of the moon from a telescope, right? So that we can see what it looks like actually. And that's probably what you would see. You wouldn't see like the black around it in the sky, but these are some of the phases of the moon that we just drew. And these are some of the phases of the moon that you would be recording in your moon journal. Yeah, so the way that it looks, the different ways that the moon looks in the sky as it goes around the earth. So we did lots of stuff today. Frankie is laughing. So we did lots of stuff today. We read about a really cool book about the phases of the moon. We learned how to draw the moon using a cup. We talked about, and you learned how to make your own moon journal. And we looked at many different pictures of what the moon looks like in person. And the moon is so cool because we can all see it from where we are, right? You don't have to go somewhere special. You don't have to, pay to see the moon or anything. The moon is always in the sky, and we can always observe it and practice our science observing skills with the moon. Yeah, so I hope you like that. It's a topic that I love to explore and learn about. But of course, if you have any questions or comments or feedback, please send me an email. It's on the side there. It's kdupuy@notlpl.org. And if you do some moon drawings, I would love, love, love to see them. We'd love to put them on our social media and share them with other people because you all do amazing work and we'd love to share with others. So thank you all for joining us. Bye, Declan and Paige, and hi, Declan and Paige, and bye, and we'll see you soon. Again, if you have any comments, no problem, send me an email. Otherwise, this video will be up on YouTube, and if you're an educator or a teacher or anything, feel free to use these in any planning you do. You have our blessing, and we'd love to hear where they are used. If you want to send us an email, that's awesome. So have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, everybody, and we'll see you next week for week 21 of STEAM Storytime, if you can believe that. I can't believe we've done 20 weeks. So thank you, everybody who's joined us for those 20 weeks. Wonderful. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye.